Hey guys, this is David Koechner, and you just heard.
Welcome into this week's episode of You Heard, where we feature athletes, influencers, and celebrities telling us about their NFL fandom. In this week's episode, we've got David Koechner, actor and comedian, joining us to help us get ready for this huge game against the Chiefs. David, thanks for the time.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's start with this matchup. You've got your Chiefs polo on. When did you become a Chiefs fan?
When I was 10 years old, my older cousins were from Kansas City, and my mother had grown up just north of Kansas City, so I had plenty of people from there. And I'm from a small town in Missouri. It was Christmas Eve when I was 10 years old, and it was the longest game against ever is Miami versus the Chiefs.
Mhm.
And we lost Jan Stenerud wide right. But that's when I was hooked because, my cousins were like, let's probably say some of them were 8 or 10 years older. So I'm hanging out in the room with them. So, you think this is really cool. So yeah, ever since then, I had a Willie Lanier poster on my wall.
Goes way back. Well, if
Way
you were
back.
hooked
Yep.
way back then, you've got to be hooked now because this Chiefs team is something special, and they have been for the last few seasons, several seasons, I should say, with Patrick Mahomes as their quarterback. Every season it feels like the Bills and the Chiefs play each other in the regular season and then get a second matchup in the playoffs. The Bills have gotten the best of the Chiefs in the regular season, but the Chiefs have beaten the Bills every time they faced them in the playoffs. What do you think about this matchup that comes at the right time every single point in the season?
It really always is a great, amazing game. I mean, what year was it? The one we had 7 seconds left. Is that 3 or 4 years ago?
I think that was 3 years ago.
I mean, that's one of the greatest games of all
I know.
time. So at least we have that. That's a good thing. I mean, we came out on top, but man, what a great game for everybody. Now, I know it's frustrating because it always comes down to the Chiefs, and it will for a while. And I make no apologies. I waited 50 years between Super Bowls because I was 9 when the first one happened, and I wasn't a Chiefs fan yet. So I had to wait 50 years for a Super Bowl. So I make no apologies when it comes to people, complaining about the Chiefs. Anyway, I sat and watched 4 Super Bowls with the Bills and rooted for them every time.
Ooh, we
Yes.
appreciate that.
Back then, yeah, those were heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But anyway, um, it's going to be a great matchup. I don't know if you guys have any health issues. I think we're pretty good. We've been able to pick up people throughout the season that just we haven't missed a step, just because we've got great coaching and great GM who finds the right people. Kareem Hunt was on the couch.
And now everybody wants him on their fantasy team.
He's a beast. And we
Yeah.
got Hopkins, forget it. And if you saw last week how well Hopkins and Mahomes now have this chemistry, right? They know they're I think, when Patrick figures out how the receiver needs the ball or where he can grab it,
Mm.
now that's dangerous,
Yeah. Yep.
which opens up Kelsey too. So it's tough, but you guys have a great receiving core too. I haven't read the reports. You guys all healthy?
Well, we're down a couple receivers. Our rookie wide receiver, Keon Coleman, who we drafted early this season in the top of the second round, he's going to be out with wrist injury. And then we also, like you guys, got DeAndre Hopkins. We went after Amari Cooper. He's been out the last game. So hopefully he's healthy in this week's game. But this has been a season, and similar to you guys, this has been a season where, you're down guys on defense, you're down guys on offense. It's like, how do we put the roster together this week? Who's going to step up? And just like the Chiefs, for the Bills, it's been random players stepping up every week, and they've been able to string together wins. You guys are undefeated. We're sitting at 8-2, and it hasn't been on each quarterback this year, which I feel like is so interesting because Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are two star-studded quarterbacks who can do things that nobody else can do in the NFL, but yet this year they haven't been tasked with doing that in every single game.
Right. The knock on Josh he was always trying to do it himself, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
it's like now you've got all the weapons and you've got a new OC, right?
Yep,
That
Joe
makes
Brady.
that's the difference maker. It's coaching. Like, look at our team. It's coaching. it's coaching, it's the organization. We got a great organization. I mean, it's to be envied. And so look at last week, our special teams won the game. So everybody steps up somewhere. Now, this match, I don't know the line is right now. It should be even, I think.
I think it was 2.5 yesterday when I checked. And that's just, give a couple points to the home team, right?
Yeah, it's impossible because anything could happen. I do anticipate a close game. Um, but I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game either because, both sides have great defense.
Mhm.
Um, and, by this time of the year, there's plenty of tape.
Yeah.
So everybody can figure stuff out. So, the Chiefs always like to do stunts on offense and defense. So I look forward to what, Andy Reid's going to cook up. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will be a lot of fun. And we're, us Bills fans are like so dang happy that the Chiefs are finally coming to Orchard Park. I know they played here last year during the playoffs, but in terms of regular season games, it's been 3 years that we've played in Arrowhead over and over and over. And we're just like, dang it, we are tired of going to Arrowhead for those games. We're happy to have them back in Orchard Park this week. So it'll be nice to have a home game for the Bills. And another thing about this matchup, you alluded to it, the defenses of both teams, they've been winning games for the teams. You talk about 2-star quarterbacks. Well, it's been 2-star defenses in a lot of these weeks.
Right. It's great when there's so many great teams in the NFL. Really makes the games better. Emotionally, of course, I want it, but then psychically, I wonder, do I hope you guys win so we win in the playoffs or what? But all you can think about is what's right ahead of you. Think about like how athletes think, right? What's in front of us is all that matters. But I'd say you guys probably might be a little more hungry.
Yeah.
And obviously, the odds are going to be against us because now we're 9-0, and you're just looking forward to whatever, or maybe it's just going to be magic all season long.
I know. And this is, you guys, the Chiefs lead the AFC. And if the Bills want a shot at the number 1 seed, this is a must win for the Bills because they've got 2 losses. The Chiefs don't have a loss yet. They've already had their bye week. So we'll see how it plays out. But this is a huge, huge game. It's going to be nationally televised for the entire country to see in that 4 o'clock window on CBS. It's so big that they're bringing their pregame show to Buffalo to do the pregame show in the parking lot and be amongst our crazy Bills Mafia fans. I feel like you would mesh well with our fan base. I just see you and the masses with Bills Mafia having a ball.
Are you guys kind to out of town fans?
Chiefs fans, I feel like are a little bit different story for us because we've had such a hard time in the
Yeah.
playoffs and haven't won that game against you guys in the playoffs. But for opposing fans, it's usually pretty welcoming because people travel here because they want to experience what it's like to tailgate in Buffalo, and people leave here with those really fun stories of nobody does it like the Buffalo Bills. But I also know that Chiefs fans tailgate pretty hard too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just in Buffalo about a month ago. Played the club there in town. You've got such a gorgeous downtown. I love it. So many beautiful architectural buildings. I did the Saturday afternoon tour of City Hall, which is it's the kind of geek I am. But yeah, it's going to be a great game. It probably is the game of the year so far, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
most definitely is. All right, let's switch to some of the things you're known for, and that's
Right.
the role you played in Anchorman, Champ Kind, and then being Todd Packer in The Office. When it comes to Anchorman, what were some of the funniest moments from filming both of those movies, Anchorman and Anchorman 2, being alongside of some of the craziest characters and actors in this world, and Will Ferrell, Paul Rudd, and Steve
Yeah.
Carell?
Well, there's a bunch of stories, but I mean, obviously we'd be laughing every day because the way Adam McKay handled it. So Adam McKay was from Second City as well. So he knows how to deal with improvisation. So you got a director that came up through improvisation, knows how to use it as a tool for his film, which really electrifies the entire process. Because when you're doing a scene, you know what the words are. All right. Now you're still supposed to be actively listening and engaged, correct? But if you don't know what someone's going to say, you really have to listen because now we're improvising. So it really adds another level of chemistry, electricity to the scene, I think. But I mean, every day you're laughing and someone's breaking just because it was too crazy. Luckily, see, I had that hat, so I could do this. You wouldn't see me, you wouldn't see me laugh because the brim out there was, so. But every once in a while, I'll see some thing on the film, and I'll see someone's lips just go a little like there's just a crease, like, oh, they're so close, but nobody wants to break because then you ruin the scene, or the take.
Mhm.
Um, I want to think. There's a scene there's a whole movie that people haven't seen called "Wake Up, Ron Burgundy."
Okay.
At the original plot of the movie, where Christina Applegate's character gets kidnapped, and we have to go to an observatory to save her. And
Mhm.
there's a ton of funny scenes in that movie. It's called "Wake Up, Ron Burgundy." I might be online. I hate to give people free
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
Um, there's a ton of funny scenes in there. There's one scene where we're in the cafeteria trying to plot against Christina Applegate's character, and Brick is eating a burrito, but really it's a coffee filter with cigarettes and coffee
Oh my
ground
gosh.
trash. We're like, Brick, where'd you get that? He goes, I got it from the food bin on the end. He goes, Brick, that's a trash can. That was a tough day just because it was so funny. So funny. But there's a million stories. I could bore you for an hour.
How awesome is it to work alongside Will Ferrell and just what he can do when it comes to improvising?
Will's the best. Strong improv background. Of course, I met him on Saturday Night Live. Me and my buddy used to say about Will, like, where's the ceiling on this guy?
Yeah.
He just gets better and better. There's nothing he can't seem to do. Always inventive. Always something distinct. So yeah, it's a pleasure and a joy, really, I guess, to answer your question.
Yeah, most definitely. He's even in the commercials that he's in, you can't help but laugh. I
Yeah.
mean, those commercials even get you in this. It's like this is a simple commercial. Commercials don't always make you laugh, but if Will Ferrell is in a commercial, I am 100% going to laugh every time it comes on.
He's the best. There's magic. I'll tell you a quick story. Anchorman 2, we're filming in Georgia, but we're near Savannah because we had to have a scene near the lighthouse in the ocean.
Mhm.
And Will's got a diving suit on under his suit, and he has to go out in the ocean. And then they discover that there's jellyfish out there that are the size of your head. And Will doesn't run out of the ocean. He just plays the scene. He doesn't get scared and go, jellyfish. Yeah, he stays until he hears cut. I was like, I he's a
Wild
beast.
man.
I know. So crazy.
Is
When we
he
were
that
filming,
funny? Is he that funny in person?
he's quieter.
Okay.
He loves to play bits, but he's
Uh-huh.
always present. I don't care if you're in a crowd, if you're at a premiere, he'll look right in your eyes and be very present. I don't care if there's 50 people behind you. He's right there, being a good friend. He's a great guy.
That's awesome. You also played a role in The Office, Todd Packer, who, Steve Carell was like, that's my best friend, that's my best bud. And then the other characters on the show are kind of like, what's this guy doing? What's he saying?
Right,
What
right.
were some of the most memorable parts of filming that show that, stood the test of time for a long time? It was all that people are watching, and it's what people go back to now to watch.
Still do. In fact, we do an office trivia show when I do shows out of town. Because people wanted The Office so much, we created a trivia show, office trivia hosted by the real Todd Packer. So we do
Gosh.
full hour and a half long show with stories and trivia, blah blah. But anyway, well, Steve and I had known each other since '89, and I'd known Kate Flannery since '89 as well, out of Chicago. So to meet friends that you came up with, in Chicago, and there you are 10, 15 years later doing a television show together, that's what really made it special for me. But my favorite was probably the first one I did because I didn't know if I was a huge fan of the British Office. So I
Mm.
didn't understand how they were going to make this work for an American audience. Well, Greg Daniels is brilliant and made it work. But so those were my favorites. Probably doing scenes with Steve and Kate.
How important for shows like that and for a movie like Anchorman is it to have a good producer, director, writer on set as well who can understand here are the people that I'm working with and here's how I can put them in the best scenarios to get gold.
100%. So you've got Adam McKay, which Adam's probably the brightest guy I've ever met in my life.
Mhm.
I've met a lot of people. I've met scientists, but McKay is he's the funniest guy too. He just comes like For Anchorman, you might come up with a couple lines you might have in your pocket and pitch them to Adam. He immediately makes them better. You're like, I thought I did my best work. And he just off the top of his head makes it better. Now in The Office, the writer of that episode will be on the set.
Mhm.
So if you have a suggestion or want to know how to play the scene one way or the other, that plus there's also the director there too. But in television, the writer is king.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. You played a college football head coach in the comebacks. Do you think you could make it as an NFL coach since you had some time doing it on TV?
No, not a million. I mean, football has become like five-level chess. It's crazy. I mean, the knowledge everybody has to have is beyond. My guess is right now, if you see a lineman slant his foot out one way,
I
you
know.
know where the play, you're looking for every little cue, every little tell. It's amazing. So
Yeah.
no, I couldn't. Plus, what's the average head football coach put in 100 hours?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. The days just run into each other during a
Yeah,
season.
I think it's something crazy. 80 hours, let's say minimum.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have that tenacity. I wish I did. Maybe next week I'll put in 80 hours and write a
Yeah,
whole new show.
yeah, write back and tell us if you think you got it in you. If you do, maybe the Bills have an opening. I know you're a Chiefs fan, but I'll talk to Sean McDermott. I'll say, "Hey, Sean, I've got a really funny guy. His name's Will Ferrell. I know you've seen him before. I think he could add some life to this locker room."
I don't think they'd let me in the janitor's closet. I mean, that just yeah.
It would be a funny movie,
Oh,
where
there you go.
or
There you go.
maybe a reality TV show where you come in for a week and you play an NFL coach and people see if you're the real deal or not. It's like you're undercover.
Right, right. Like whatever it is, boss, undercover boss. Yeah,
Yes.
undercover coach. Oh Lord.
Yes.
I think I'd
Well,
be found out in a day.
you do your best work when it comes to making people laugh. Is there an NFL player that you would want to roast?
I'm not a big roast guy, to be
No.
honest.
Yeah.
I don't like to hurt people's feelings, even if it's for fun.
Okay.
So that's this is the honest answer.
Nice. I mean, Tom Brady had that big roast, and it was so funny to see people go up. And I think, like you said, sometimes it's where's the line here? How close can I toe to this line? But he was a champ for taking it, and it takes a certain person to be able to. I'm gonna sit here and you guys can make fun of me for 2 hours.
But it hurts. They did it when I got married. Uh, um, they did a roast at my bachelor party, and it hurts,
Yeah. You're like, are you
even if
guys
it's for
really my
fun,
friends?
because they'll say stuff that's true that you didn't know people were thinking about. And you're like, well, hey, but it's all in good fun, right? They're not really trying to hurt you, but we all have these, our feelings. So yeah. Anyway.
Well, you've got a bunch of stand up shows coming up, one on December 15th in Michigan, and two December 20th and 21st in Salt Lake City, Utah. What can people expect out of your stand up sets right now?
Well, I do an hour and a half with my friend Rob Mayer. We've been touring together for years. Rob does a half an hour, then we do about 8 minutes together, and which is unique. And then I do 50 minutes after that. So I've got 5 kids, so that figures heavily into there. I've been married and divorced, so that's part of the show too. There's also, should I say guns? Yeah, guns, manatees, and an auctioneer that's having a nervous breakdown.
Wow, that sounds incredible. You also you also have a movie that people can purchase or rent on Apple TV. It's called Ganymede. Can you tell us a little bit about this film?
Yes, it's an independent movie I did a couple years ago that just came out. Ganymede. Here's the log line. It is a Southern Gothic queer coming of age story with a horror twist. So that is a real genre bender. It's a drama. I got to play a nasty preacher, so that was a lot of fun for me.
All right, Ganymede. Everybody needs to go check it out. It sounds like it's got a little bit of everything in it for people who are into movies.
I'll tell you this, my kids said I was good in it.
Hey,
That's the best
A
praise.
plus, A plus. That's
Yes,
all you need is your kids to say, "Hey, Dad, good job."
you kill it. I got to tell you how they said it. Dad, you were good. There was so much a hint of surprise.
Like, wow, thanks. I guess I'll go back to work tomorrow if I have your approval.
Yeah.
Well, David, thank you so much for helping us get ready for Sunday, a huge game coming up for both the Bills and the Chiefs, and helping us relive some of those funny Anchorman and The Office moments that I think so many of us go back to and watch time and time again.
Right on. Let me say one last thing.
Yeah.
Bills and Chiefs on the field, and whammy, whammy, whammy. Let's get at it.
Yes, I was waiting for that. We needed a champ kind impression to help us get into Sunday.
Love it. Well, best wishes. Good luck.